All right, we're back with another little segment of Wet Your Palate, where we talk about what we just did on Go With Your Palate. So we had a couple special guests today. We had brothers Alex and Ben Jensen. They are youngsters in Texas. When I say youngsters, mid-20s, late 20s. And they're just crushing it in the real estate game. So
I'd say highlights were having a good time, laughing a lot, but just showing our story from door to door to real estate, and then the crazy things that we run into, and getting to role play a little sales conversation with you.
Yeah, just talking about how we get rental properties, kind of a little bit different than most people, and all the crazy stories that we have, knocking doors, cold calling people that we don't usually show, but we like to show because it's funny, and it kind of gives people a point of view of what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and I think you guys really showed an inspiring hustle. You've created great community, really using social podcasting, just getting your message out there, and mentoring and coaching other people to do what you do.
what you guys are doing, especially with the mentor thing and getting people the knowledge, it's admirable, and thank you guys for being on. All right, well, yeah, we're here on another segment of Go With Your Palate. You got me, Joe Wagner, and Chris Fat Mario Rubio as the co-host. We got some special guests today. We got Alex and Ben Jensen. They are, well, you guys are the founders of REI Closers.
They're closing deals, dude. They'll just always be closing.
They're partners, but they are very focused on closing every deal. I like it. Just put it right in the name, man. You don't fuck around. So we'd love to hear a little bit about the origin story of how you guys got into this, because you guys, you're brothers, you grew up together, and went to college. Pretty close in age, right? You guys are what, 3 years apart?
A little under 2.
2, okay. And so how did that whole thing start of just real estate?
I guess it was kind of stemmed from me first, and I was doing door-to-door sales in college. I read the original Rich Dad Poor Dad book that everyone says to read, and that just sparked all my interest. Dropped my internship that I was supposed to go to, and went out and did door-to-door sales to try and get enough money to buy my first rental, and ended up finishing one of the top reps in that region, and bought my first rental property my senior year. And then Alex was already graduated at this point, so he was doing the finance job, and then I kind of looped him in on the real estate stuff after I was knocking doors and finding deals, and then brought him in on it. So then we went full-time on it eventually after I did a couple years of door-to-door sales.
And your start, Ben, was in solar?
So I actually did, my first door-to-door experience was selling cameras and security systems for Vivint. So they're a big smart home company, kind of similar to ADT. So I was selling that in the summer of my junior year going into senior year, and then did really well, bought my first property, and then our whole team switched over to sell solar because we were kind of doing the same job. They were just like, you can make more money. You can be in Dallas at your home. So we switched our whole team over and sold solar the following year. Did well with that, and then I started finding all the real estate stuff that we're doing now at the end of that first year doing solar.
Yeah, I think your dad, which in full disclosure, Eric is Ben and Alex's dad, and he heads up global sales for Copper Cane here. I love saying that, global sales.
Global.
And so whenever I get to meet up with Eric, he will tell me a couple stories and whatever else. And I think at one point he said, like, my boys are making more money than me. Has he told you that?
I don't think he's directly told us. He just may know that. I don't know.
Maybe that was just his way of asking for a raise.
Well, I think, one of the things I think that you guys are doing very well is your content. You guys add some humor, some youthfulness, something new, but also like get the educational piece through. But I'm bringing this up too because you're talking about making more money, and they actually do have a video about how you guys made $100K in a summer.
That was my first summer selling alarms and security. Yeah, so that was just before doing all the real estate stuff. I went out and I got sold. They like come knock doors and make commission. There's a guy that was already investing in real estate, so he recruited me out there, and I ended up making $100,000 that summer selling security systems.
I mean, I love that story because that's just grit. It's like, I'm going to find a way to do this and get out there, hit the street, and adjust. I mean, I would like to hear a little bit about kind of the learnings through that process when you first started that role, going in just kind of very green and just adapting to the environment and learning what worked, what didn't work. How did you find like a groove of success? I mean, were you batting like 10% the first week and then 20% the next week, and you know?
Yeah, I know. I'm still in the spotlight right now. Alex is probably facing this whenever he got started in real estate, but the door-to-door stuff, yeah, I mean, it was just objection, or I guess rejection after rejection 24/7. I mean, we're knocking from a lot of times 10 to 12 hours a day doing competitions. It was more of a sport, so it was very good with the team. Everyone was super competitive and young. Luckily, there's a lot of other good salesmen on the team, so it was more just who can get, you're looking at the leaderboard 24/7. So, I mean, it started out, you know, you get a couple deals a week, and then it was like, okay, I can get 6 to 7 deals a week. Then it was 10, and then you're getting 13. So it's like you just start creating a new standard, I guess, of what you're supposed to get every day and every week on sales.
And what were the things, if you can recall back to that point? And I know we haven't gotten into like what you guys are doing now, but I think that the origin story is important here. So, if you recall, what were the sales tactics that were not working, and then what did you do to adapt, and how did you discover those?
I mean, I think when you're new, it's very much you're trying to follow a script. You're uncomfortable. People are giving you the same. You know, they want you off your doorstep, so you feel like a salesman versus just slowing down a ton, being comfortable, getting their guard down. You know, making sure you're not just throwing your product at every single person. You're kind of treating it more like do they even qualify for it? So it was just really getting more comfortable and being a human being, making people laugh, especially that first 30 seconds on the door. Like, they'll either shut the door in your face, or, you know, you're a little bit different than every other salesman that's came up to their door. So that was the biggest thing. And then after that, it's just every objection you hear, you know, writing it down and figuring out how to overcome that immediately. So you know when to expect what they're going to say already.
And so you guys have how many people on the team now?
I guess Caruth Brothers is our actual wholesaling business and our real estate investing. We grew up on Caruth Court, so we named it that. But REI Closers is our education and, you know, community that we're building to show other people how to, you know, get in what we're doing. But I guess there's how many, Alex? Like 6 on our team?
7, I think.
So it's Alex and I, and then we've got a couple of dudes closing deals, some setting appointments, one that finds all of our buyers for our wholesale deals, and then we have a transaction coordinator, so she handles all the title work back and forth, communication on basically account management.
So the reason I ask is that you're just talking about writing down what didn't work, what you felt like, you know, you could improve on in your next doorbell ring, and now you got a team, and now you're also training, right? So there are some AI tools now that'll actually be listening. Have you heard about this stuff? Like AI tools that will listen to a pitch and like give you feedback on on what you could do better. It'll be like you have been you were told 3 times this point and you did not react to it, or what. Like, it's crazy. Like, AI is now helping salespeople sell better.
AI's taking our jobs.
Yeah, it is.
They can't do it as well as Ben.
No, they still can't.
That's crazy. That's kind of wild.
It is. But I mean, I think that's something like any organization, even like, you know, going door. If you go back to, like, you know, solar security systems, whatever else, I do think that's something that can be utilized for their team or any team to, you know, better it, especially if it's a lot of interacting and figuring out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier too. I mean, so solar, if you're selling solar, you're selling security, and then now you're in real estate. You know, it's all about the sell. It's almost like, right? I mean, like, a lot of what your teachings can be applied also to just closing in general and like those kind of techniques. I was actually curious, Alex, did you have a background in sales as well before kind of coming on?
No, I wasn't in door-to-door. My brother tried to get me to go do that, but I was a couple years ahead and I already had finance internship. So I was just doing a finance and accounting major in school, and then I ended up just working in portfolio management at Fisher Investments just right out of college. So I did that for 2 years, and then started knocking doors after that for pre-foreclosure deals. So I didn't have any like formal, sales background.
I know. Well, Eric told me that Alex took all the advice on sales from Wolf of Wall Street, and
Yeah.
and it seemed like it was successful. So there's something there.
Yeah, that's what I do on the doorstep. I'm not effing leaving.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about REI Closers. Well, first, how'd you guys come up with the name?
How did we come up with the name? I think I came up with it just trying to figure out. I mean, a lot of our following is guys in door to door. That's just where I came from, and then we have a lot of people in our real estate communities and mentors that we've, other real estate groups that we've paid to be a part of. So real estate investing is REI.
Yep.
And then closers is just, everyone in door to door, they're all closers and want to learn how to close deals, or maybe they're real estate investors, they want to learn how to close more deals. So we just put the two and two together. I didn't even know if it would stick. I just kind of started with that, and then we ran with it.
And you guys haven't had any issues with REI, the organization, like trademark?
No, our mom brought that up this weekend though.
when I first heard about REI, I was like, I wonder if that's because you guys are in totally different segments of the industry, right? So, and acronyms are pretty hard. One example is you have the British Broadcasting Company, right? BBC, and so we also have a Chardonnay that we call the BBC, which means big, beautiful Chardonnay, or whatever your sick mind thinks it means.
You should have let him guess.
And so we're protected because it means something completely different from BBC. So I think you guys are good. But yeah, I was just curious if you ever got a call, because sometimes big organizations will call up and be like, "Yo, you can't use REI." You're like, well, technically,
I think we need to grow big enough to where they can recognize us first, probably.
Yeah.
And then when they do, and then when you do get that letter or those papers or whatever, then it's like you've arrived. Then you're making an impact. And that's, I think, that's
then you
exciting.
frame it.
Yeah, then you frame it, and you keep the name, and you do it. Because I thought, we talked about this, but can you really? I don't think you can trademark a acronym.
No, you can. I think you can trademark if it's specific to REI. If it's real estate investors, then I think you can trademark it in association with that.
But then what happens to the hiking mountain gear company?
No, what is that?
REI?
Recreational equipment? Something? I don't know. Totally different.
Art. We got art here. What's that? But anyways, this is the more important REI.
So I'm curious. You guys obviously have been very successful in what you've done at a very young age, and you guys are probably thinking about the future. And I mean, what is the ultimate scalability of this?
I would just say the real estate investing part. There's a lot of scalability in different forms of investing and doing deals. Like right now, wholesaling is cool because you're the middleman. You doesn't require any money. So a lot of guys that know how to close deals and acquire, we're basically finding distressed property. We're getting it under contract and we're assigning that contract to a buyer for more. So it doesn't require the capital, which is cool. So it's a great entryway. A lot of people are interested in wholesaling. We've gotten to a point where we do, a lot of those deals. We'll start to flip the ones that are, going to give us an even higher return in a longer period of time. We just bring in someone else's money, we do the flip, and then the best deals we hold on to as a rental property. So that's for more of the long-term wealth. But so it's really scaling into more deals, and then also getting into development, building, doing new builds and those things that are higher margin, multifamily, commercial at some point. But right now it's kind of just scale the single family, grow the community, and then at some point, whenever the time is right, to level up into those things.
And you're currently just focusing in Texas or Dallas area, or how far have you guys expanded out?
And we've done deals all over the place. I mean, primarily, I would say about 75% of our deals end up being in or around DFW. But we do a lot of deals in Houston, San Antonio. We did one last year in Colorado, just did one in Tennessee, Louisiana. So we're starting to branch out into other states. But right now, it's a lot of Texas.
All right. And so, Alex, what is your opinion on scalability with this?
Yeah, I mean, it's two separate businesses. Like, so we got the REI Closers, and we have like our actual like real estate investing business. So I would agree with Ben on the real estate investing side. Just keep getting more deals, and then work your way up into multifamily, commercial. Keep holding on to properties, like Ben said. That's what we're going to build our wealth in. And then the REI Closers, that's more of the coaching, the community aspect of it. So building as big of a network and a community as possible. It's really easy to do real estate, I guess easy, quote unquote, when you have a good community. It's hard to do it as a lone wolf. It's like our goal is just to build that up as much as possible and help people either scale their business or become, a real estate investor if they're not already.
So, okay, let's, in regards to the REI Closers part, how are you making money off of that?
We do a handful of things, actually. It's funny seeing it all come together. I mean, we have a school community that we were charging, at first we were just charging monthly. We have a free group and a paid group now. So we just charge, we have a free group to help people get started. And then if they want direct coaching, it's more for door-to-door guys to show them how to get into real estate. So we'll work specifically, we like that niche because they already know how to sell. They all want to buy real estate. So really it's helping them turn deals they're already knocking on into real estate deals, or how to knock pre-foreclosures, how to buy rental properties. So there's coaching on that they pay for, or two other things that we've done now is the systems that we use. We just white label and sell now on a subscription. So like our CRM, giving them the tools to basically text, call, follow up, get the pre-foreclosure data, all these things that we're already using. We just now, hey, here's what we use. You guys can get the exact same thing, and then they pay us a monthly subscription. So there's like a couple aspects of it. It's the systems and then the coaching.
Got it. And they're off on their own. They're kind of lone wolves, but they're getting the data. They're getting some of the back end support from REI Closers. Yep.
And then a lot of it ends up being naturally we just get more deals from people. A lot of our deals come from people that they got their first deal under contract and they need help with it. So we end up finding a buyer, or we help them get it under contract, and we split the profit with them. So the community aspect brings us a lot of deals that we just monetize on with other people.
Yeah. Okay. And you guys are Gen Zers, right?
I don't know.
Are you in that generation? I think you are. Like, because I was curious when you're talking about the subscription, and who would you say generationally is the clientele that you have that's seeking this knowledge on closing? Would you say they're around your age group? Is it just all ages?
I'd say it seems like it's a mix. I mean, our first couple clients with REI Closers, one of them was actually closer to our dad's age, and then anything below that. I mean, we've had people that are 18, 25, 30. It's kind of all over the board.
I'd say a lot of the door-to-door is, as far as the community and showing them having that niche, they're all between 20 to 30. They're young hustlers that are getting after it. They're making a lot of money at a young age. They want to invest. As far as the real estate investing side, where they're looking to get our systems, our CRM, or the data that we use in that community, I mean, there's everywhere across the board. I'd say 25 to 65 years old. I mean, there's people wanting to learn how to invest in their 45.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking about the content that you guys are putting out. I feel like you're adding this humor element to it. It's also it's really catchy because I think it's of the times, and it's like these quick clips and getting to the point, which is, I feel like.
That's going to appeal to the Gen Z.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would say the Gen Zers were okay, because if you see a video and it's just how I made $100K in the summer and it wasn't OF, it was REI. They're oh, okay, this could be something that maybe I could get into. There's other things you could do to make some serious money, but you also have some other great ones too, make sellers say yes to your offer. This is kind of quick things that they could do, or how I bought my first rental, which actually I would like to know.
Yeah, we can get deep into some of these things. Yeah, because I think that part of it is how you guys are operating on the real estate side is I think quite interesting. It seems like it's a niche market, but it's not really. You're utilizing pre-foreclosure data to go and assist somebody in getting out in a healthy manner, and then find a new owner, or in some cases, you guys take over that house. So if we can get into a little detail on that, unless you guys are giving away secrets.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's more than
and
more than just pre-foreclosures. Alex can get into that, but yeah, we do a lot of. I'd say pre-foreclosures are about half the leads that we do, or deals we do, maybe a little more. Sometimes it's just motivated sellers, people that inherited the property. It's people that are tired landlords. Someone passed away, or they're getting divorced, or it could be any distress. But we definitely do a lot of pre-foreclosures.
Yeah, and I would say, but as far as the rental property goes, like a lot of people, if you're not really experienced, think, oh, you got to find a house on market, get a conventional mortgage, you're going to put down 20% and pay whatever 7% interest rate right now, which no house is going to cash flow anything if you do it that way. The way we do it is we buy every house subject to the existing mortgage if we keep it as a rental. So you can actually purchase homes where there's a mortgage on the house and there's a deed. Whoever's on the deed is who owns it, but you can keep that old mortgage in place. So in the example of someone's behind on their payments, they're in pre-foreclosure. If they're behind like $10,000, we'll pay that reinstatement to bring the loan current, give them cash, and then we'll just take over that mortgage payment and buy the house that way. So if they have a 3% interest rate, we just bought a house by taking over the existing financing at 3% instead of going to Bank of America, getting a new loan, getting a 7% interest rate, and negatively cash flowing. So that's how we get all our rental properties. Is most of them are either 4% or less, or they're seller finance deals that are at 0%. So we're not paying any interest at all.
Damn, that's good.
And so how are you able to find the data as far as, maybe I should segment this. So finding the data for, say, a pre-foreclosure or just distressed property, how do you do that? And then when it comes to finding out the current loan and interest rate, is that the door-to-door sort of like you got to go up and find out the details?
Right, so there's a few different ways you can do it. For pre-foreclosures, most states, it's public data. So you can go on to a county website or just like type in like Dallas County pre-foreclosures and find it all publicized there. And you can pull it yourself. We actually sell a service now that pulls it for you and skip traces it with the phone numbers and whatnot. So you can get pre-foreclosure data just off of county websites, or you can use paid services to get, like what Ben was saying, like absentee owned houses or vacant houses that aren't necessarily in pre-foreclosure. So you can pay for it, or you can get it the free way, and then finding out what their mortgage payment is, the interest rate, all that. We cold call a lot, we text, we knock doors, our team does, so it's just asking. So we'll get on the phone with a homeowner that's facing foreclosure, maybe they're not, and just ask them like, hey, what's the interest rate, what's the payment, and we can see what rental rates are. We can see if it would make sense to even buy a house that way.
Yeah, the data is all out there. It's just really hard to capture, so that's why we eventually built a tool to scrape it. It's a bunch of PDFs you got to go through, find the addresses. It's not time friendly or easy to do. So usually people are paying for some service to get the data. And then once they're contacting the homeowner, you're qualifying that. They're telling you either F off or, I need to figure out how to stop this foreclosure. We walk them through the options. We see they're 20 grand behind. We know how much equity they have. And then we just structure the deal based on the situation. Some people, they don't even have enough equity for us to do anything, or they're too far behind on the payments or whatever it is. So we're just qualifying it through a conversation and getting that information.
And what's the breakdown on percentage-wise between text, phone call, in person, at their doorstep?
We started doing this 2.5 years ago. I'd say more than half are just JV deals, meaning someone needs help closing it and they call us and then we just close it over the phone. I'd say probably 25 to 30% are just straight up door knocking. Like we'll door knock and hopefully close it right there. Sometimes you have to set an appointment and go back, but I'd say probably 50% is JVing, and then 30 is door knocking. The other 20-ish% is just straight up cold calling or texting.
That JV call sounds like some Wolf of Wall Street or like Boiler Room.
Well, that's
stuff,
that's
right?
they
hand you guys the call, and you could just like come in like Vin Diesel and just close it.
Well, I think that's where you're splitting the profits, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
so-
we're not taking 100% of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys have.
Maybe it's a little different.
Yeah, so you guys have. Yeah, it's not quite Wolf of Wall Street.
I mean, that's how they were doing it. They was taking those guys' money. You get past your
No, no,
Series
no.
7.
But yeah, so you guys have a pool of. Do you have a pool of buyers that you work with, or people that are investing in multiple house or multiple investments that are looking to sweep these up, and that's kind of you have that kind of go to, or how do you do outreach? Maybe I should ask that to the people that you are placing into these homes that the current owner wants to get out of.
Yeah, so if we're buying it and we need to get the person that was previously living in the house, we have like realtors that we work with that can find them a place to go. But if we're wholesaling it, we're just getting it under contract and finding a buyer. We've built out our own buyers list. We also pay for a service that has buyers on it, just like a monthly subscription. So we have access to buyers all over the place. So if we're going to wholesale something and we need to find an actual person to like fix and flip that property, we have access to like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of buyers across the United States. It's pretty simple. If you have a good deal, you can sell it pretty quick.
We know at this point what we need to get it under contract for and around what buyers are buying it at. So there's a lot of tools now for people that do a lot of deals. I mean, you could go on Facebook groups or find local investors in your area, but now we just pay for software that it's pretty crazy. It shows all the cash buyers in that area. It shoots out our deal at the price that we want to sell it at with the pictures, and
I didn't know
then
that was available.
we basically we just bid it up. It's like it's like an MLS that's not on the MLS. It's like an off-market MLS.
And so these buyers, are they do they range, or is it predominantly kind of like, somebody relocating, or is it a construction company that's looking to, continually flip houses after a remodel?
It's like fix and flip. It's investors, just like us.
It
but
is
they're not
investors, okay.
focused on wholesaling. Yeah, they're people that are simply wanting to fix and flip it. Like we're the middleman wholesaling a lot of times. Although we do flips, like we have a flip. One of our biggest deals is it's on the market right now. We actually purchased it, renovated it, but most of our deals, we don't want to do that. We just, don't bring any of the money, and we connect the buyer to it, and we're connecting it with fix and flip buyers. Sometimes they're rental buyers. It depends what their goal is.
Nice. And I was going to say, so you mentioned cold calls. Do you have anything that's like stuck out, or maybe something that started like negative, but you were able to bring it around, maybe throw in one of your techniques? Just anything that sticks out in your guys' head, either one of you, like a funny call that you had. Or...
We have so many that I kind of lose track. Same thing when you're knocking doors, but we actually just started like tagging those in our system, and we've been making YouTube videos just like reenacting those. So we actually have a few up on YouTube that are hilarious. But I mean, we have people
I actually just saw a couple of those.
Yeah,
they're wild. I don't know, like off the top of my head, we had one guy that he answered the phone. It was the wrong number, but he answered like, "This is Slappy's Porno Palace" or something like that. Was how he answered the phone.
Yeah, we got some wild. If you look at some of the latest Instagram or YouTube posts, I mean, Peter, one of the guys that works with us, he left a note on a lady's door, and she was yelling and cussing at him, saying not to come back here. And he's like, "Well, what is your address?" And she's like, "Figure it out." He's like, "I can't read mine." She basically threatened to like shoot him if he came back. We've had people blow up just yelling at us, and then it's hilarious. We have some of them on YouTube. They're like, Peter will be like, "Wait, I can't hear you. What was that?" And then he'll just keep egging them on. But yeah, it can get pretty aggressive sometimes. Some people that are just getting called a lot and they are pissed.
Yeah,
I just answer the phone in Spanish now. Whenever I get like a spam call, but I'm not saying your calls are spam calls, but if I don't recognize it as, I'm like, "Bueno, ¿quién es este?"
Do you guys speak Spanish?
Un poco.
So would you just pass on Joe if he picked up the phone right now, or do you?
No, I usually say, "Oh, un momento, mi amigo habla español mejor," and then I just like add my friend on that speaks Spanish.
Boom! Art.
Nice.
Art's on.
Nice.
Close Joe right now.
We've actually gotten a handful of deals that way. They just, especially when it's a pre-foreclosure, they just want to speak to someone that they trust and they know can speak their language.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's huge. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So nobody's actually pulled a gun on you or anybody.
I've had a couple guns pull up, but not like anything pointed at me or anything. I was actually door knocking for alarms. I had a guy. Our managers always taught us to knock 30 minutes after dark, which is just a classic, like, just grind it out type thing, which usually I did. It was worth it. I probably got 15 more deals that summer just because of it, but in certain neighborhoods it didn't end up very well. I walked up this one house and the guy saw me coming to the door, and I saw him go walking, grab his gun, and then his kid luckily answered the door. He's like, yo, it's just a salesman. I was like, okay, but he was like holding his gun at the door.
Oh, damn.
So you gotta tell me a little bit about this 30 minutes after dark. What is this about?
Like, that's what every door-to-door manager will tell their team. So it's like you're knocking from prime time when people are home is 4 to after work, but we start knocking usually at noon or 1. Unless it's a competition, we would go out at 9 a.m. Like some days I would be out there from 9 to 9. But
is it like the after work before dinner sort of period?
That's usually that's what we call prime time. Like that's like the best hours to catch people and close deals. So in the non-prime hours, you're trying to set appointments or qualify or just catch whoever's home, the older people. But after dark, the whole point is just it gets dark at 8:39. If you stop knocking, then over the course of a whole summer or a year, you're going to miss a lot of deals. So it was just get uncomfortable and knock for 30 minutes while it's dark.
That's wild.
Yeah, and how long does one of these deals take when you got somebody like on the line, like right? You got them hooked in. If you're trying to close a deal, is this like a 20-minute, 30-minute?
It's a good question. I mean, I do not recommend knocking after dark, especially foreclosures. This was more like selling.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I'm glad we clarified that because we're sending people.
If you knock a foreclosure after dark, I mean, they're already they're usually embarrassed and denial, or depending on the situation, it could be a nice neighborhood, it could be a very not nice neighborhood. So like, probably not the smartest idea, but. A close for a real estate deal, I'd say like depends on how motivated they are. If we used to do Google ads quite a bit, and they would be calling in, how do I sell my house fast? I've closed those in 10 minutes. It's crazy. But on a pre-foreclosure, we're usually showing them why they can't keep their house because they don't have the money to catch it up, or they won't get approved of a modification. And then we're walking them through this whole process, realizing, okay, I probably need to sell. So it's like an hour phone call.
Okay. That's pretty quick though. Really?
Yeah.
That's assuming if they do it there. A lot of times, I need to add someone else on the phone call, a spouse or a family member, or set an appointment for later because they didn't make a decision or whatever it is.
You mentioned Google ads. So I'm actually curious. I think you said, are you still using Google ads or not? Because I'm curious what you found works as far as those ads, if anything, right now.
Yeah, we had them on for about a year, so like last April to this April, we turned them off just because market was a little bit down, but they're good. I mean, when you're getting people that are trying to sell, so they're the most motivated leads.
Close about 1 in 15 to 16 it was, but 55 would come in every month. Like technically the ROI was good. Like we were probably getting a 3.5 to 4 ROI, but you're spending $7,000 a month on Google ads. So it's like if one deal doesn't close the next month, you're just spending a lot on marketing versus our pre-foreclosure stuff, or joint venturing with other people is so much lower cost, so the ROI is a lot higher. But yeah, there can be a lot of good stuff where you just have to be really dialed in and be able to call the lead the moment it comes in and close it.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, I'm just seeing like a theme of technology being used that's also helping you guys be the most efficient that you can be, whether that's using ads. I mean, you have like these programs that are basically can be going through this stacks of information that would be so time consuming for you. Being able to pull just the essentials, and also social media, which I mean, we keep referring to back that you guys got these videos and stuff and you're connecting with people. Do you guys get trolled? Do you guys do you guys like the commentary, that you get from the communities?
We don't on social media. We don't look at the comments too much, but every once in a while, like go through our YouTube videos, and people will not realize that it's either satire or they've never knocked a door, and it's just like, you guys are the scum of the earth and stuff like that. It's pretty funny.
See,
I've learned from social media that there's a lot of fucking idiots out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say we don't probably have a big enough. I mean, a lot of our following on Instagram, almost all of our content on Instagram, YouTube is directed to door-to-door people because that's a niche that we're targeting for REI Closers.
Yeah.
And then a lot of our Facebook and the school communities is more real estate investors too, not just door-to-door people. So, but I don't know. I mean, it's usually nothing, not too crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just catch some strays every once in a while, which is funny.
I can see like the super anti-solicitation person being like, "You guys,
Yeah.
stop calling me."
Did you see the video we posted yesterday about that? I door knocked this lady in pre-foreclosure yesterday. We have our content guy come follow us around, and he films it.
Yeah.
And it's great. The first time he went and filmed last 2 weeks ago, I knocked on the 5th door. I knocked on. I walked in and closed the deal. Whole thing recorded, and pretty crazy. So it's cool for our community to be able to show them like, how do you actually present this? How do you close a deal? What are the objections you overcome? Like, walked in the house, but then you also run into the crazy stuff. So like, we had this 90-year-old lady answer the door like this with her phone up, and she was recording or taking a picture of me. So I smiled. I was like, "Oh, do I look good?" And she's like, "Oh, you need no soliciting. You need to have a yellow or green vest and a permit from the city to be able to knock." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, she was so old. I was like, she's about to get foreclosed on. So I'm like talking slow, like, "Oh, like, do you get a lot of solicitors? Like, we can help, you know, whatever." And she basically shut the door on us. So we went to Home Depot 5 minutes away, got a yellow construction vest, and re-knocked her door. And she just still didn't like it. I don't even know if she knew we were the same people.
Hey, you tried. You tried twice.
You tried. But like you said, she was in a hard spot, and seems like she was older. So I mean, you guys were trying to reach and help her. I mean, did you ever follow up on Slappies?
That guy was just doing what Joe said. He's like, "Oh, you have the wrong number." Like, that's how I answer any phone call that I don't know.
That's how he just answers it.
Well, no, I actually saw this whole like, there's some dude that does that, like.
Oh, that's yeah.
And so I mean, because I get like spam calls, like maybe 3 to 5 a day.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck list I'm on, but like,
and you like to pick them up, so that's what you're doing.
But it has nothing to do with anything that's relevant in my life. Like, that's like, it's like just random shit. Like,
car warranty.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was probably somebody that I fired that keeps putting my name down on random crap and my phone number. And I say that because somebody that I fired told me that they did this to every one of their previous bosses. It was that fuckhead.
Okay, we'll believe that.
But yeah, so I was curious about like looking into the future here, and you guys seem to enter this real estate business for what your model is at a really good time for your business. Do you see any risk going forward with interest rates coming down, and how are you preparing to weather that, or do you feel like there's always going to be a need for this type of service out there?
I think since we do everything off market, doesn't affect us too much, and especially since we're buying rental properties where we're taking over mortgages. With the interest rates dropping, I mean, if anything, that should help, because when we go to wholesale a deal, buyers are less wishy-washy. If we have a house that we're flipping, buyers are less wishy-washy, and then as interest rates come down, the prices are naturally going to increase. So hopefully that's actually true, but we'll see.
It is funny because interest rates don't the more distress there is, there's more leads for us. So unfortunately, a lot of people are behind on payments, so it gives us a lot of leads to acquire. But anytime the buyers have more confidence in the market, I mean, it makes things easier. Our deals sell much quicker. The value of the houses that we own are going to skyrocket just because interest rates come down, the prices are going to go up.
So you're able to take advantage in any economic climate, really.
Right. I mean, we do everything off market until we flip a house and put it on the market, right? So like, it's as long as there's distress, which there almost always is, we're getting those deals under contract, and then the better the market is, just more confident for buyers. So
I was just going back to the door-to-door thing because I find like that's interesting, but I was just curious. You said that so this next video, which we definitely have to check out, that you went in and you went into the house and you closed the deal. Is that usually how that goes when you're going to close? Do you get welcome into a lot of homes? Like, does anyone ever fix you a snack? See, you say, dude, you get snacks. Like, I was wondering if that's kind of like angles too that you can kind of teach people. You're like, hey, we don't just like close deals. We close like getting hydrated. We close like, you know, getting that snack. You know, you could use the bathroom. Like you're going to come out of there, you know, using something. I don't know.
I think Ben said the best pho that he ever had was from some family that cooked him dinner.
No way.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you're knocking in foreclosures, a little less like that deal. I mean, I got a water just because I asked for it, or maybe they're doing whatever. But like, yeah, when I was selling solar alarms, I mean, you knew you were closing a deal the moment they asked you for if you wanted a beer or food because they were cooking it, or like I just always, or sometimes I just ask. I almost use that as a strategy the moment I sat down, because the goal is to get them sitting at a kitchen table, because people don't really make decisions typically when they're standing up or at the door. Like you're kind of the word or the phrase in door to door is like you're on the door you're a pest, but in the house you're a guest. So like the goal is to get inside, get them to sit down. It's like now I'm actually a guest. We're gonna sign, make some real decision making stuff. So like I would generally ask for a water, and then they're like, oh, like yeah, and then they feel like they need to be a host to you. So it's kind of like but yeah, there was a lot of times where I had a guy who literally cooked me a whole meal. I've had people, you know, sit and drink a beer with us for hours. Like it's just, people usually, once you get inside and get talking with them, they really enjoy the company, and usually those are the best deals.
See, I'm like thinking about if you could be able to switch it around. See, if I had someone knock on my door, I'd act like I'm really in a rush with my dog, and I'd be like, look, you could really help me out right now if you just walk my dog like around some of the blocks and stuff like that. He's a crazy beast, by the way, so it's like I'm not afraid of him getting stolen. Like he will be returned real quick.
He will be returned.
once he bites their face or whatever. I mean, you know, it's only happened once. But but anyways, like I like that. I like to hear kind of like those stories about.
Yeah, it's almost like you build trust and you become the guest.
Like yeah, because that does make sense. Like, you know, and that's a good sign. If you get offered the beer, you're right.
You know the deal's closed at that point.
What last thing, did you ever make like a buddy? Did you ever like go and then you end up like hanging out with this person?
There's a couple people I've sold, you know, in the past, and not as much on. I mean, foreclosures, we keep up with people if they need help. Like one of the houses we actually flipped in Dallas, she just texted me. I guess it was pretty cool to see. She was in foreclosure last year. We flipped her house. It was from a door knock, and she's reaching out to me now because she just got approved for a FHA loan. She's trying to buy another property. So she was reaching out, asking for help on that. But yeah, usually, I mean, with door knock deals in the past, I had a couple, you know, customers that I just connected with because I stayed in the area for a while, and they'd see me and they were in some sort of business, and I would just go hang out a little bit. But typically now you're just on to the next.
Yeah.
You know, especially when they have an issue with their little camera system, whatever, and you're like, like, let me just, like, I don't want to hear from all these people all the time.
Give them a different phone number.
They're just asking you to like, they're like, my Wi-Fi's not working. Can you go over here and figure? You're like, unplug it.
Yeah, do the art
Wait
thing.
30
just
seconds.
Unplug it.
30 seconds?
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Is this really the end? Unbelievable. Find out next week.